are you, Matt?
I don't know. There I am. What are you doing, brother?
I got caught eating sushi.
Sushi?
Yeah.
What kind of stuff is that?
Yeah, you know.
Is that healthy stuff they tell me about?
I don't know if it's healthy or not.
Right?
It depends on how much bacteria is in it.
Oh, yeah? All right, you're with the Hangout Live here tonight with Drake and Robbie Lochner, as always. We're back, baby. So I'm running literally, dude. Let me let people check this out. I'm running like 5 different computers at one time. So if I'm staring off into space, you know why now.
Oh, is that why?
Well,
come on, man.
head injury, bro. All right, let's thank our sponsors here real quick. We've got Full Spectrum CBD. Boom, there they are. Allen, Allen, and Shannon. See, I've been messing up on his name for a while now, bro. So I've been bad. Full Spectrum CBD, man, they get it done. I love these guys, straight up, dude. They are good people, man, and they help us out every week. And then, of course, we've got Backbeat Music, Alexandria, and the team. I'm gonna zoom this in a little bit here. Let's zoom it in. Can I zoom it in? I can't zoom it in. All right, Alexandria and the team over there doing wonderful things for us. Oh, I can if I just use my other hand. See how talented I am, Robbie? I can use both hands.
Look at you. I don't know how you can use both. One at a time, right?
Actually, I can, dude. This one's totally ridiculous.
Ah.
She just slaps me around in bad ways.
Uh-huh.
So that is...
So that's that. So anyhow, for tonight's show, our guest could not make it, which we had anticipated happening over the past 6 months, that this is a possibility that could happen. So, you know, we decided we would do this show as a get to know your host show, where I'm going to be interviewing Matt. There's some pretty cool stuff that I'm going to pull out of you that I want people to hear. You know, it's pretty interesting, especially the Celine Dion. So we can't not talk about that. Let's see. And then we're also going to bring in a few other people throughout the show. We'll bring in, we're going to bring in Craig Arts. He's from A Fall to Break. They got a new record coming out November 1st. It's killer. I put up a video that I did a guest cameo on one of the songs, playing a solo for them.
Oh, that's bad.
That track, maybe we can play it during the show. We'll see. That would be cool. I think it's independent. It's not, so it shouldn't get flagged and shut us down, hopefully. We play that. I was going to try and get Emily to come on too, somebody that I produced her record, but she got into a car accident, so she's not able to.
Oh, no.
She's dealing with her car accident stuff. So
is she okay, brother?
She's okay. Her car looks like it's a little dinged up. She sent me a picture, and I guess she's dealing with that right now. She literally works right behind me, like right across the road there.
At a cemetery.
Yes, at a cemetery. So she might have been coming out of there. I didn't really get details. She's probably a little flustered at the moment.
Poor gal.
We're going to have Leroy come in too, right? We're going to have Leroy come in tonight a little bit. Leroy Butler.
Yeah, Leroy Butler stop in from the Baja Men. Of course, that was Leroy. Now is uber talented, and he's working with you, Robbie.
Yeah, we're going to talk about what we're doing a little bit. Will be cool. Very cool.
He's now wrote a hook for me as well, so you and I can start doing our deal.
Uh-huh.
Badass, brother.
I don't know if you wanted me to tell you that, but the secret's out, so.
Oh, sorry.
Oops, you didn't know that yet. It was a surprise.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
You don't. And then what, is James Hyde going to jump in too?
James Hyde's going to jump in after a bit too. Yeah, man, he's going to be in there. So, dude, it's going to be a night, man.
I kind of want to ask him about Monarch a little bit. Now that I've seen it since the show, we binge watched it. It was good. We really liked the show. We were like, wow. We watched it, I think, in 2 nights. So we're waiting for season 2 to come out now.
Right on, brother. Right on. James is so talented, dude. I love James, man. Love James. And actually, James and I, and I'll talk about this with James when he comes on, James and I are becoming pretty pretty good friends, man. He's really a really cool dude, man. I've enjoyed him. So thankful to have him in my life. Absolutely. So I'm seeing now I've got it set up to where I can see live comments coming in. Robert
Nice.
Lawler in the crew. We got Cheryl's out there, Silver's out there. We got Jennifer Werner. As always, Jennifer's big support of the show. And they're having some fun out there already, man. So let's keep that rolling and rocking and rolling. Now, if you want to be on the show with us tonight, hey, hit us up with an email address, and we may just choose you from the audience to come in and hang out for a bit. Right?
Correct.
Robbie will send all that stuff. He's got it all under control. Love you, bro.
Right. So let's see. Let's talk about Matt. Get to know your host. Where do I want to go? Do I want to go back really far? Do I want to get right into the good details? What are we going to go? Let's go back a little bit. So where were you born?
I was born at Fitzsimmons Army Medical Center in Denver, Colorado.
And you grew up in Colorado?
I did, man. I am a Colorado native. Obviously, the Broncos tat on the arm here, but born.
Sorry to hear that, but just continue. I figured you'd be a Cowboys fan now, being in Texas. Not America's team, huh? Yeah.
Was that awkward? It felt awkward to me.
Not really.
What's behind me, bro? That's an Atwater jersey. What's behind me? Oh, yeah, that's a Broncos jersey too, baby.
No.
Oh, I represent for D-Town. No, I was born at Fitzsimmons Army Medical Center, man. I was kind of an Army brat in a way, and to a 16-year-old mom, man. I was single. She had
that brings me to, I mean, just not to jump off the subject entirely, but I've heard, because we talk a lot and stuff that about your stepdad, Dale, that he's having some health issues, and we just want to make sure to put it out there that, good positive thoughts and healing energy are coming your way. Hey, my camera's falling. That's not good. So, just that everybody put out good prayers and whatnot. Yeah, my head's cut off. So I just wanted to at least make mention of that.
Yeah, he's had a kind of a rough week, but we're all staying positive and hopefully, not to put too much of his information out there, but kind of had a scare with the C word, and we're facing that. We've got some appointments coming up, and we're trying to deal with that and get him through it. He's a strong dude, man. He's strong-willed, very active. We'll be all right. But yeah, I appreciate the positive vibes. Everybody out there throw some positive vibes. Dale, he's always watching. Dale Preston in the comments. That's my stepdad. So I appreciate that very much.
So moving forward from there, because it made me think of it because your mom, clearly married to Dale, she was at that point, she was doing modeling and stuff. Is that right? Kind of like.
Yeah. So mom's in the comments. I'm sure she's probably cringing right now, but she was kind of a hippie model, actress, very talented, had probably a really bright future and career in front of her and what she was doing. And along came this guy and kind of threw a wrench into a lot of things for her. So, but she raised me. My biological father was unfortunately not in the picture. Now, kind of a cool story because you brought up Dale. Cool little story is that Dale was actually her boyfriend when I was a little guy.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Newborn. And they were kind of like, high school sweethearts, junior high sweethearts, high school sweethearts. And they were together for a while, and then they separated for, 40 years? 40 years and found each other again. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, that all transpired when I was just a little bitty tyke.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, almost was your dad. It was a close one.
Close enough, man.
And it's, what's a dad?
Yeah, dads are people who can step up and fill the role, man.
That's right.
Doesn't matter if it's blood or not, right?
Yeah.
So now I've got a relationship with my biological as well, but definitely it's it's good to have as many positive role models and male models in your life that you can. So I'm a stepdad too, so I get it.
So moving forward with the story here. So you grew up in Denver and never really did the music thing, right? There was no music, just a fan of music mostly, right?
In and out. I tried, played drums
Oh, you
growing up,
did? That's right. Okay.
and I just knew that my talents lied elsewhere. Actually, I was kind of really focused. Now, if you ask my family and my wife sitting over there who's staring at a phone, apparently, that they've all thought that I was a pretty good singer, and but to be honest with you, Robbie, I had stage fright, horrible, horrible, crippling stage fright
Mm-hmm.
growing up. I was the kid that, man, if you called on me in class and wanted me to talk, I was like full on panic, face red, can hear the ears ringing, It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I was a kid always sat there, don't call me, don't call me, don't call me. And it never
Yeah,
failed.
that was me too.
Was it?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And it never failed. They called on me. You know what I mean? So I thought I was talented enough to be a singer, but I also really had a passion for acting and stuff like that. So that was kind of my goal in life, and just never really transpired. Obviously, life, we'll get into it, I guess. My life took some twists and turns and led me into different directions where my size mattered more than anything. We're not talking that, baby.
Really? I wasn't looking at you, I was looking at your wife. Really? No. Like, no.
No. Call the doctor. We need the blue pill. Nah, my mom's watching. I should probably be good.
Yeah.
So no, yeah,
Yes.
I was always into music, man, and music to me is power. It's life. It's what moves us. It's what brings us together. And that was something that I've always focused on. Oddly enough, my mom worked at a place called Bailey School of Broadcast when I was young. And it was a school literally for like DJs and learning the music industry and how to navigate through the sharks and the pitfalls and all the stuff that you face on a daily basis in what you do. So she had DJs around when I was a kid, kind of big name DJs for Denver. They were always around, they were friends, and I kind of fell in love with that portion of the music industry, was being the guy that's sitting in these studios and playing the songs, man, and telling people who they are and trying to help struggling or starving artists get noticed and get some airtime. And that to me was gold for who I was.
Yeah, that's a lost art, really. Unfortunately, you don't see much of that at all anymore, where there's, a DJ is going to play, new talent or something, instead it's like programmed, it's all pre-programmed, and, they'll do it, and then the DJs aren't even in the studio, they're not taking calls, they're not taking requests, they're not saying, here's a new band from, it's a lost art that really needs to come back,
You
in
know,
my opinion.
you're right, brother. And I argue with my employer on the regular. So it's so well here. Let's just show people, man. Let's not play around with it. This is a radio station, folks. Ooh, hello. So as you can see on the side there, the songs, the commercials, everything are already programmed into rotation. All right. So that's what I look at every morning. And then when I change my board around, and I'll kind of try to show you the board in a way, I can take control over that. I can veto whatever they have programmed in, or I can let it play and I just come in and talk in my specific spots. When to me, that's not being a DJ anymore. Promoting that local music, getting in touch with your listeners and the people who value your station, and doing the dedications, doing the requests, doing the local talent. If you've got a CD
Yeah.
or anything that is airworthy, bring it in. Let's drop it. Let's get it some rotations. Let's see if we get some feedback off of it. And then if so, then I talk to my other DJ friends because, you know, we all kind of mingle in that areas. And I send it out to them and say, hey, man, you got to check this track out. That's the way it used to work. And that's the way it needs to work because we've gotten so focused now. I do sales as well. I'm the general sales manager here at Prophecy Media. And we've gotten so focused on sales and revenue, which is needed. I'm not going to downplay that. But we've stopped caring as much about the music and the people listening to it. So I don't care how great your station is. Okay. And I happen to have the #1 station here in town. Okay. I don't care how great your station is. If you got nobody listening to it because out of 60 minutes, you're playing 54 minutes worth of advertising, your money's being wasted as an advertiser. There ain't nobody listening to the damn station because they want to hear some music. So that's when you lose the people to the Pandoras and the streams and the XMs and all that fun stuff. So being more focused on dial back radio, taking it back to what it used to be, get your revenue, get your listeners, be interactive, support local talent, support those local musicians, bring them into the studio, do live feeds from the studio, do all that fun stuff. That's what music should be. That's what radio should be. That's my opinion.
That's really the only way I think it can compete really in today's world, because now you can go on and listen to anyone anywhere, right? Pretty much.
Right.
So why would I want to listen to, you know, my local radio if I can listen to, you know, some big, you know, DJ over in New York or California or wherever he may be, anywhere in the world, right?
Exactly.
The reason you'd want to do it is because they're bringing in the local stuff. They're talking what's going on in the area. They're engaging the community, all the things that you can't get elsewhere. So that is important.
You're totally right, brother. And people want that local connection. They want to hear what's going on in their town, obviously.
Yeah.
But they want to know that, dude. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, and not to sound big-headed or anything, but when I go to the grocery stores or Walmart or wherever the case may be, when I walk in, people are like, hey, Drake. You know, and it's because I interact with our audience. I interact with our community, and I'm out there doing things for the sheriff's departments, or I'm doing things for, you know, the Chamber of Commerce or whatever, and getting involved and getting people involved in the station. So one of the cool things, I don't know if you can see it, is I've got a fan wall here in the studio. And when I mean fan wall is I'm a fan of all of these people. So if you look, I don't know if you can see them or not, I have people come in and literally sign our walls inside of our studio as the listeners, because to me, no offense, my brother, but they're the rock stars, because they're out there every day doing it and grinding it and listening to us, listening to you, listening to Jack Russell's Great White, listening to the great guys that we've had on here with Firehouse and the Baja Men and Warrant and the Appease. Without these people, none of us exist, bro. So in my world, they're the stars. So
no argument here.
What's that?
No argument here. I get it.
Right.
Of course, that's just kind of how it is.
So I asked him, come in and sign my wall in my studio, man. I want your autograph on my wall.
Cool.
So that's kind of how I play radio, and sometimes my employers dig it, sometimes my employers hate it.
As long as the station stays at the top, I guess, it's the main thing.
Right.
That's the bottom line, really, for an employer.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep that revenue.
Cool. So from there, what I want to move into talking about when you started a limousine company.
Right.
Limousine service. So let's talk a little bit about that. And, I guess it was struggling at first, right?
Yeah. So originally I kind of got into limousines part-time by accident. I always thought they were cool. I mean, obviously everybody thinks they were cool, especially back in the early 90s and mid 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a status symbol, a big, long, streaky car going down the road. And I was working as a bouncer and kind of just floating around and didn't really have a vision. I just knew I was a big dude. I knew I was good at fighting. You know, it does not sound stupid, but that's the way it was. And so I worked as a doorman and bouncers and gentlemen's clubs, nightclubs, and stuff like that. And got into the limousine industry from a guy that I knew back from high school. He showed up at a gentleman's club and he had a brand new Corvette with this, you know, blonde on his side, and the license plates on his bed said "My World," just like Tony Montana from Scarface. And I was like, oh, you know, what are you doing, brother? I mean, where are you getting this money? He's like, oh, dude, I started some limousines, and man, we're killing it. You know, I'm making more money than I know what to do with. So I kind of dabbled in it for a while. I hooked up with this other dude who had a limousine company starting out, and him and I just kind of really, for lack of a better word, just work our asses off. I slept with phones on my chest, you know, answering the calls all throughout the night. Worked our way up to, we went from basically starting with one car, 3 cars, to where we hit 45 limousines, 90 chauffeurs, some passenger tour buses, stuff like that. I mean, we all just worked our asses off. So through that, we got some weird accounts. We got some cool accounts. We got Music Express. We got Burgundy Global. You know, a lot of entertainers went through us. It was a cool deal. And then we got into doing some bodyguard work.
So, okay, so at this point, you the company was not quite breaking through, and then somehow you got a call for Celine Dion, because I want to talk about that a little bit. That's a fun story.
Right?
So how did that come about? Why did they call you guys? And let's hear about that day.
So Celine Dion was kind of a weird night, brother. So we offered transportation. We also offered security services if you needed it. And Celine was playing the opening night at the Pepsi Center. It was the Pepsi Center is where the Colorado Avalanche plays. It's a big concert venue in Denver. And this was opening night gala. And she was just, I was at the hotel at like noon. You know how it rolls, brother. I mean, I do transportation for you when you're around. You and I do shows together.
Except for when, if we call a lobby at noon, we're going to be down there at noon.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I've never had an issue with you guys, but she had a lot of noon to come over to do, you know, the rehearsal and sound check and dress and all the fun stuff. And so for people who aren't into doing concerts, it's kind of the way it works is you go over, you pick them up, you bring them over to the venue, they do sound checks, they set up their gear, they make sure everything's good, they do sound, you know, dress rehearsals for the bigger shows, stuff like that. And then you take them back to the hotel, they shower, they get ready, they get warmed up, whatever, and you bring them back shortly before showtime, depending on what act they are in the rotation. So I got over there about noon, and I was supposed to pick her up at 1 o'clock, and she was just nonstop, dude. She wouldn't come out. I'm sitting out there while the Pepsi Center's calling me nonstop, like, "Hey, where you at? You guys are late. She's supposed to be here. We got sound guys sitting around. They're ready for her."
So this is sound check time, noon, 1 o'clock. She's supposed to be down at 1. You're still waiting. So what time are we looking at now? She's still not coming down. They're calling you. What are we looking at?
It got out of control, dude. I didn't work for the Pepsi Center. I worked for Music Express, which handles the transportation and security for some of the celebs. So we're talking 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock. Now I know doors open at the venue at 6. And the opening's going on at about 6:30, 6:45-ish. So about 5 o'clock, 5:30, she finally comes strolling down. And she gets in the car. And the funny thing is people think that limousines are like soundproof from the back to the front. So just a tidbit of information, that partition that goes up between you and the back, that's just cardboard covered in carpet, guys. I can hear everything. Plus, there's a microphone in the back above your head with a speaker above my head. Okay. So she gets in the car. I start heading down to the Pepsi Center. I'm literally like 5 minutes away. By this time, I've shut my phone off, dude, because they've called so many times. It's just ridiculous. And I start to go, and partition comes down. She says, "Hey, we need to go pick up my girlfriend from Cherry Creek." So I respond politely, hey, Miss Dion, I'd gladly go pick up, your friend from Cherry Creek after I drop you off at the Pepsi Center. And she gives me is that what I told you? Is that what I asked you to do? Well, no. Then do what I asked. And there were some words put in there that weren't very friendly. So the partition goes up. I hear her talking mad crap, dude. Now, F this guy and blah, blah, blah. And her husband, Renee, is trying to keep her under control and calm down, babe. You don't want to get stressed out before the show, blah, blah, blah. So we head out to Cherry Creek. I pick her up. I pick up this gal, and we're heading back to the Pepsi Center. And on the way back there, I can hear them talking about her $6,000 pumps that she's wearing and how they kill her feet, but damn, they make her legs look good. Her words, not mine. So we get to the Pepsi Center. I pull in. Dude comes out frothing mad, spitting, blah, blah, blah. Where you been? And she has the nerve to turn around and say, well, you would have been fucking on time. We'd have been here. You know me as well as anybody, Robbie. I don't really mince my words. And if I got something to say, I'm going to say it. So I told her straight out. I said, look, princess, I don't know how the fuck you're talking about. And I hope those shoes are that comfortable. Those $6,000 pumps are what gets your princess ass back to the hotel tonight. And I drove away. Dumped her there. So obviously Music Express is calling me nonstop. Hey, you can't do this, bro. Yeah, I can. And I did. So I thought things are bad, bro, because it was right after Columbine High School. Right after Columbine High School. And I had no idea until the next morning. I opened up the New York. Hello.
So your mind, you're thinking that's it. It's over. The company's done.
Well, I think that because the Denver Post the next day is like, hey, Celine Dion donates all her proceeds to the Columbine High School Relief Fund.
Oh, okay. I forgot. Okay.
Yeah, Matt Drake throws her out of his car. Way to say thank you, right? So I'm just like, oh my God. Now, let me kind of tie in the story a little bit. Is Columbine High School, my ex-wife's sister, younger sister, was a student at Columbine when Columbine took place. And I can remember like clear as day, dude, being down the street, praying, hoping to God that we got to see her again. And the horrific events of Columbine were just earth-shattering for us in Denver. I mean, it was the first really big school shooting there was. So obviously, hopefully, and thankfully that my sister-in-law was okay. And then we actually drove and donated cars to all the families for the funerals for Columbine. So I had a real attachment to what happened to Columbine. So, of course, it's, Denver takes a dump on Celine Dion and kicks her out of the car, and she donates all this money, and this guy's a jackass, and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, business is done. We're over. I'm screwed. I'm never going to work in this industry again, dude. We did more business than I have ever done in my life. Everybody wanted the dude who threw Celine Dion out of his car. Things blew up, went ballistic. So
it's interesting how that goes. You just, you don't know. You're thinking, oh, it's the end of the world as we know it. But instead, it's kind of like, people kind of respect it. Like, I imagine they kind of realize what she's probably like. And I think there's a high probability she'll never be on this show. But you never know. You relive old times. Maybe she'll enjoy it. She'll tell you how those $6,000 pumps work for her.
Should we talk about throwing little Wayne out of the car at gunpoint?
No, talk about that one too. Sure. And then, because I think those are the, some interesting stories for people, because you did drive around a lot of different people. So you got to see insight on what people's personalities were like for real, because when you're a driver, you really get to see what people are like. I mean, I see it driving around with bands when there's a bunch of bands in a van and there's a driver, and you see how some people treat the driver. I mean, to me, that's an important thing. You see some people treat them like they're a little slave, and you got to do this and do that and this. And then there's others who are very respectful and, appreciate them and thank them and whatever. I mean, me personally, I sit there and I'll just talk, like when Bill drove us, your boss, I mean, we talked the whole trip. I just sat up there and we just blah, 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 blah.
You know what makes it is when the people in the back, and the people that bands or whatever are in the back, and they treat the driver like an absolute tool, and then realize that that's actually the guy that's paying for the show,
Yeah.
planning their checks. Those
Yeah.
are make me laugh, man, because they've done it to me several times.
Yep.
Several times.
And it happens and they don't know. And it's like, you know what? You don't, regardless, you should treat them with respect, no matter what, whether they don't know that, hey, this is the guy that's paying your check. They don't know that, whether they do or they don't. It doesn't matter. For me, it doesn't matter. It never matters. I'll just talk to the person because, they're a person, and I like to sometimes get to know their life story. If you got to drive, sometimes like, hey man, who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? Whatever. You just start finding out who they are, and engaging conversation. And a lot of times some really good conversations come out of it.
Well, look at, I mean, that's how all this began, dude. Is really this all began because you and I kicked back behind the backstage while Lita Ford was out performing, and we just kind of hit it off. And I started listening to the new album you guys had coming out, and you just never know where those friendships are going to evolve.
Yeah, you didn't drive us though, right? You didn't drive us there. No,
not that night.
No, because that one, and the first time we played there, were you there the first time we played with Blue Oyster Cult?
I was there. You drove yourself in a white minivan.
That's right. That's right. And I don't think we met the first time, but the second time we did, I remember we were backstage and we just started talking and, hey man, you want to hear this? And here, put this on. And, we just shot the shit and exchanged numbers. And here we are. I don't know how many years it's been now, but it's been a few.
It's been 7 years, 8 years, somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there.
My wife always makes fun of it because it was like you and I were like, oh, cool. And then Jack and I ended up, hugging and crying and stuff, slobbering all over each other for an hour.
And Nate, that was back when Nate was still in the business. And you know what? I mean, I know Nate got a lot of grief, and but I got along with him well. I did get along with him well. I know he probably made a lot of bad decisions in doing what he did, but that's neither here nor there. We got along just fine.
We had a up there, dude. I mean, we had some good concerts up there in Scottsbluff, Nebraska. It was a really cool venue. It was at the base of a national monument, and it was an outdoor amphitheater, and it was a kick-ass venue, man. And
it was.
And
and probably still is, but yeah, I don't know if they still do concerts there or not, but it was fun.
It was a great time, and we got some good friendships out of it. That's where I met Firehouse. That's where I met Warren. That's where I met a lot of Alita. I mean, Kip back in Denver because we're from the same area, but Kip Winger. But yeah, I mean, those were great times, man. And dude, I wouldn't trade. I've had a rocky history. I've been to the joint. I've had some mistakes in life. I started off with a badge over here, and then took the badge off and got a number over here. What are you laughing about?
The joint.
Yeah, I've been to that joint too. It's all good, but yeah, it's been an interesting ride, my brother.
So, what about Lil Wayne? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure, man. Actually, a guy who worked for me, his name was Bear Hanna. We're still friends today. Great guy. He called me one night. He was like, "Hey, dude, I've got some band called Cash Money Millionaires in the back of my car. I have no idea who they are. When Music Express would rent a limousine or security or whatever the case, they run it for 4 or 5 hours. After that, the artist is responsible to continue to fork over cash, but it's paid for 4 or 5 hours for them. So it gets into like 7, 8 hours. And Bear's calling me. He's like, "Hey, dude, these guys aren't paying. They don't want to cough up any money. They keep screaming at me. We're Cash Money Millionaires. We don't worry about it, blah, blah, blah." And he says, so the last time I kind of confronted him, and when I rolled up the partition, I could hear him say, "Hey, we're going to shoot this dude in the head." He's like, they're all dressed out in red and, gangbanging out. And he's like, "I'm nervous, dude." So I'm like, "All right, man." I said, "Just pull the car over and get out, lock the doors from the inside, and get out because you can't get out from the outside, back in the back." I'm like, "Just stay there. I'll be down there." So I call like all of our guys, and I'm like, "Hey, anybody in the proximity of Federal and Alameda, meet me there. I don't know how many people we got, but there's talk of guns and violence. So we get there, and of course, at this time in my life, I'm strutting a Glock 40 under each shoulder, and I get up to the car and I open up the door, and here's this little dude with all these braids, and I'm like, "Hey, bro," I said, "You owe us like $1,000." The driver says that you refused to pay, and then you talked about shooting him. So you need to pay, and you need to get out of my car. He's like, "You can't make me get out of this car, blah, 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 blah." And that's where you're wrong. So we kind of went back and forth for a little while, and I finally just kind of got pissed off, and I grabbed him by the back of his head and shirt and flipped him out onto the concrete. So things got a little rough, a little heated right away. There was people screaming, some guns got pulled, but luckily, because of where we were, Denver PD was just like everywhere. And a lot of his crew got arrested for outstanding warrants, and little Wheezy got left sitting on a little Curdy, and we left.
Oh, he's all by himself?
Yeah, him and a couple of his boys, were hanging out still, but we left him sitting there.
Yeah, without his crew, it might have been a whole different thing. Looking around going, oh man, what am I going to do now?
Honestly, at the time, I had no idea who Lil Wayne was or Cash Money Millionaires, I wasn't in radio then. I was in a different life, and didn't mean anything to me. All it meant was, you owe me money. Pay up or get out. So I got to work for some fun people, got to work with Kid Rock, got to work, the Metallica end of things. Those were some good times, man.
And those people were all super cool, right?
I'll be real honest with you, Robbie, and then we could bring in some other people, because I'm sure people are probably getting bored. I'm not even seeing comments on my end because I screwed up the screen. But
People love your stories.
Oh, well, thank you for loving my stories.
They want to hear about the Bayliner.
We'll talk about the Bayliner in a moment. So anyway, I find out that I'm doing Kid Rock, right? Not doing Kid Rock, because that would be awkward. I'm working for Kid Rock for the evening, and so at this point in time, I'm not gonna lie to you, I had a string of some really bad experiences with some really not friendly individuals who were in the position of being rock stars or country music stars or whatever. So I get Kid Rock. At the time, I wasn't really a fan of Kid. Kind of like the Ball with the Ball and Cowboy and all that just came out, and it hit hard. And he was touring with Metallica and Korn, and they were doing a show at Mile High Stadium. So I get the ticket. I'm like, great, because all I've seen is his press. The big mink coat, the fedora, the attitude. So I'm like, great, I'm gonna have one of these nights, So I go down and pick him up from Denver Jet Center, and he comes out and walks across the tarmac, and the first thing he says is, "Hey man, my name's Robbie. What's yours?" I'm like, "Drake, nice to meet you." He's like, "Hey bro, if we get too loud or disrespectful, whatever, just tell us to shut the up. We get it." I'm like, all right, cool. So at the time, I'm driving like this 2022 passenger Hummer limousine with the original Hummers. So they get in the back, I pull out a DIA, and I'm heading out to Clear Channel, and they're going to do a little radio spot. And as we're driving, dude, the car's dead quiet. I mean, just totally quiet. I'm like, you guys sure you're rock stars? You're living up to Kid Rock's name here, man. So the partition comes down, and his face is like right behind me like this. He's like, "Hey, bro, everybody's asleep. Mind if I ride up front?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, dude, jump on up." So he gets up there, man. The whole time he's like, "Hey, where do the Broncos play? What's this? What's that? Where's the Rockies play? Where's Coors? I want to see all this stuff." So we do this whole journey around Denver before we go to Clear Channel. And he's just one of the most decent, down to earth, would never, ever understand his fame. And I don't think he understood just how famous he was. You know what I mean? It wasn't part of who he was as a person. So later that night, I got a call on my cell phone. "Hey man, it's me. I want to go hang out. I want to go do something. I'm bored. Let's go hit some strip clubs." So we did. And I've never partied that. In fact, I think I'm still missing a portion of the back of my head from partying that hard that night. And that's where he hired the girls to be up on stage to do the dancing during the show the next day. So yeah, totally down to earth, dude. Standing in the green room, talking to him, I feel this arm come up on my shoulder, and I hear this dude say, "Oh man, my back's killing me, bro." And I'm thinking it's one of the chauffeurs that are, working with me that night, the, security. And I turn around and look, and it's James Hetfield. And I'm not gonna lie, I had a fangirl moment. I was like, "Who's James Hetfield?" He's like, "Man, I blew out my back wakeboarding. I had an accident." And back then, what was his name? Jeremy. That was playing with him. Justin. Jeremy.
Bass?
Yeah.
No, that would have been the guy from Phoenix. Was oh, come on.
Who also did vocals. Oh,
come on. I know this guy. He was in Flotsam and Jetsam. Oh, Jason Newsted.
Jason.
Yeah.
So during the show, James would come off stage and have a masseuse and a chiropractor work on him because he was in bad shape.
Oh, wow.
He would take over vocals for a song.
Wow.
And then James would come back out and hit it again. But one of the coolest experiences ever. Absolutely.
Jason was a bad mofo.
Jason Newsted. That's it.
Yeah. He was in Flotsam and Jetsam. I think he started the band. We played a show with them at a place called Clancy's in Phoenix in 1984.
No way.
And they played right before us. And I kid you not, there was two guys there to see them. Two guys. That was it. Two guys on the floor. And then we came on and it was just crowded with, a lot of girls and stuff. And then these guys come down there and they're walking around, flipping us off and shit, And then the girls are all like beating on them and they're like, "Oh, okay." But the one thing I remember about that night was the bass player and the drummer were just freaking amazing. Those guys were so good.
Jason's incredible, man.
So when he ended up in Metallica, I was like, man, Metallica's just gonna blow up. I go, wait till you hear this guy play. I was telling people. And you know what? You never really got to hear what he was capable of because he had to fit into that mold of the band, which he was pretty intense. In Flotsam and Jetsam, the stuff he would do was like, whoa, this dude's ripping. But he's a smart player, clearly.
Yeah. I was always more of a fan of Metallica with Jason than after Jason. So that's just me personally. Love Metallica, obviously everybody does, but I was definitely a Newsted fan.
Yeah, right on.
So what else you got? Should we break out of here? I'm not telling the Gayliner story.
Yeah, do one more and then let's see if, I don't know who's out there, if James is out there or if Craig Arts, maybe we bring Craig in. We can talk about the new Fall to Break record.
All right. So, yeah. All right. Joan Chapman wants to come in for a moment. Let's let her in for a moment, shall we? Ding dong.
Sure. There she is.
Joan. Oh, Joan. Let her in for a moment, shall we?
Hey guys, how are you?
There we go. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Good. Nice shirt.
Good. I know. I wanted to tell you. Yes. I got the shirt.
Yeah.
We had a nightmare, Robbie, trying to get Joan her shirt. I sent out 4 different packages to her house, each with shirts and autographs, all that fun stuff. And they just disappeared. So finally,
Porch Pirates, huh? You got Porch Pirates over there?
I guess I didn't get them. And so then I was like, don't worry about it. And then he's like, no, I'll send it. And he did a tracking number and I got it. So yeah.
nice.
Yeah. So anyway, but I just wanted to say hi. I miss you guys. Matt, I listen to you every day at work. You're piped in through the cancer center now.
Oh,
so yep. So we listen to you. And Robbie, I wanted to tell you, I love the Star That I'll Become. I listened to that. That's great. They are really great. They're amazing.
Killer band. We're going to bring on the guitar player, he's the guy, he mixes and produces the band and obviously a writer too. And we've been talking for a number of years since I first heard about them. I don't know. I guess it's been over 5 years because they put out their last record. And he sent it to me and I was like, oh, another two-song band. That's cool, you know? But when he
Yeah.
put it on, I was like, oh my God, these guys are really good. So I was like,
Yeah,
"Hmm."
it was good. Yeah, it was really,
Yeah,
really good.
really
So,
good. So when they did this record, they put out a single in the summertime, and I was like, hey, why don't you let me play a solo on a track? He's like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah, I want to do a solo on a track. I want to do something on here because
Well,
of the track.
hang on just a moment. John, why don't you just tell Craig himself how much you like him?
oh, hey, Craig, you guys are great.
Looks like he's connecting to audio there. You'll be here in just a moment.
Where's he? No, wait.
Do-do-do-do.
Oh, there. Wait, I see.
See him?
Can you
Can't
see
hear him
me?
yet.
Yeah. Hi, Craig. You guys are great. I listened to
Tell Craig himself how much you like him.
video, the music. It's fantastic. I love the single.
Great.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Connecting to
Yeah, there we
audio
go.
there.
We
You'll
got
be
you
here.
now.
We can hear you. Somebody's
I'm
got
having difficulties here, I guess.
Do-do-do.
Oh.
Somebody's
we got
got
him.
a computer on somewhere. It's got some lag. Speed over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Craig. You guys are great. I listened to the music. It's fantastic. I love the
It's
single.
Luke.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, there we go. We got you now.
I don't know.
Alright, like I'm getting all kinds of difficulties.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's
It's
interesting.
not. I don't know what it's doing.
There you are. Can you hear us, Craig? I think we got it out of there.
I'm getting no sound on you guys.
I
No,
can hear you. I can hear everybody.
I don't know why he can't hear us. He's not muted and his mic's hot.
you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, there we go. We got you now.
Here, we'll try to bring you
I'm
back.
getting all kinds of difficulties.
Well, that's weird.
It's not.
Weird.
That was odd. It's about a minute delay.
Yeah. Joan, thank
Huh.
you so much for everything. I appreciate you.
Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome. I hope you guys are all doing well. And Robbie, tell Jessica I said hello. And I miss everybody. I miss music. I miss the music families. You know, Robbie, you guys were supposed to be here last week at Tally Ho Theater. And I know it's
Yeah.
rescheduled to 2021, but I just hope it happens. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully things will be back up and running.
Yeah,
Next
I
year.
hope so. Yep. So, well, good night, guys. So
All right, good
thanks
night.
for letting me say hi. I love all
Okay.
of you and be safe.
Dude,
All right,
thank
cool.
you, Joan. Appreciate you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. You want to try and bring Craig in again and see?
Let's see if we can bring him back in now if we're not going to have a loop here.
I don't know. Let me see.
There you are.
You're on a Mac, right? Let me go.
Oh, he's got somebody helping him.
Can you
Well,
hear
good
us?
night.
Oh, that's so
I can't
weird.
hear it.
Can't hear it.
That's so weird.
Okay, so what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna
What
want
we'll
to
do is we'll mute Craig for a moment, but we'll leave him on the screen. How's that?
Okay. Until he can hear us. So he'll be able to hear us even though he's muted, right?
Right. So
Okay.
once he gets his thing, then we can ask him to unmute.
Okay.
So Robbie,
Right. Yeah,
hey, did you get a hold of Leroy by chance?
I did.
I sent him the invite. I haven't seen him pop up yet.
Oh, I told him about quarter till probably.
Oh, okay. Well, we're past that, but that's good.
Are we really?
Yeah, bro. It's 10 minutes till 9.
Holy cow. Did James Hyde come in?
No, not yet. Where's Jess? Is she over in the waiting room?
She should be.
Let me see where she at. I don't see Jess. Oh, there she is. Let's bring Jess in for a moment. Let's talk with Jess. Let's do it like.
Hi, guys, I'm here. I can hear you.
Yeah, that loop was weird. That was a trippy loop.
That was a trip. What are you doing, Jess?
Hanging out. We're a little concerned. I don't know if Robbie told you, but we have fires all over Southern California now. Just
Oh, no.
like our daughter's school district, no school until further notice because it's just like 3 miles away from us.
Yeah, I just got my phone was just buzzing because they're like an emergency something. I didn't even look at it, but and the winds were intense out there today. I mean, intense.
Yep, it broke our patio umbrella and it's made out of metal.
Yep.
It's super crazy over here, but
Luckily, it didn't go through the window.
Huh?
That's
I was
scary.
afraid stuff was going to go through the window because chairs are flying and all kinds of stuff. So
It was crazy. It was crazy. Super
Wow.
crazy.
Well,
But
you know, there's always room for you here in Texas if you need to come.
thank you.
oh yeah, we'll just go from bad winds to hurricanes. All right, no problem.
We're gonna have to take all the cousins because I invited because they're on voluntary evacuation. So I said,
Ah.
come over to the house. So if we go to your house, you're gonna have to house all of us, Matt.
Bring them on, man.
So
Bring
it's,
'em on.
We'll pitch a tent.
Yeah, there you go.
Was there any questions? Did anybody have any questions, or is it just
No.
kind of
Nuh-uh.
no questions? Wow. Okay.
Single.
I want to. Craig, can Craig hear us yet? Can you hear us yet, Craig?
Nod up and down if you can hear us, Craig.
Nope, he can't hear us yet. He's still working on it.
Now, one question, man. We must suck, dude.
No, you guys are great.
We're great.
Great.
You're rock stars. They just don't know it. So that's crazy scary, actually. No, we don't get the hurricanes up here, man. We're in West Texas.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So all we get is like the extreme heat.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's trippy how I don't know, this whole fire thing just popped up today, and with the winds, it just spreads it like crazy.
Really bad. I heard that there was a couple of firemen that are critically ill right now.
Man, that sucks. Hearts and prayers go out to them for sure.
So,
That really sucks.
yeah.
All right, so Tina Collins, hey, boy, she's out there. Tina, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Who else we got? Oh, Silversmith. Just listening to the story, she says we don't need to ask any questions.
All right, cool.
Vernon Vandegrift, Ohio is just chilly. Hope all you remain safe. Agree with that, absolutely. Yeah, it's chilly here too for West Texas. We're like 30 degrees, which is really, really unusual for us. Craig, are you there, my brother?
Yeah, I got you guys now.
Oh, there we go. Cool. All right.
Sorry, it was connected to my Pro Tools setup, and so the voice wasn't going through it.
No worries, brother, no worries. Welcome to the Hangout Live, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys for taking the time and letting me on.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Robbie's been bragging it up. He said, that you guys were fantastic. And then you became even more fantastic because you let him play guitar.
I didn't say that, but
Hey, I'm not going to deny it, but I mean, Robbie's an animal. Everybody knows that. So it's not like a secret or nothing. And he's also one of the guys I respect the most out of everybody I've met in the business. So it really means a lot. And he's a legend where we come from here, and I've known about him when I first found out about Robbie. My dad worked with a guy who knew a guy who was buddies with him, and I got a tape from Rock Lochner, and he was like, cool, all right. So it's pretty weird for, all these years later to have him on our song.
That's badass, brother. So are you from the Tucson area then?
Yeah, I was born in Tucson, so I've been here my whole life.
Nice. Hell yeah.
yeah,
So
they started kind of getting popular right after I moved away. He had a band, was it called Gridlock, right? Gridlock?
Yes.
Yeah. And they started getting pretty popular. And I've heard the name, but I didn't really know. I mean, I was involved with a lot of stuff and didn't really have my finger on the pulse there. But until we talked probably 5-6 years ago, and you sent me a track, or I forgot exactly how it happened. When I heard it, I was like, holy shit, these guys are good. I mean, it was legit. I thought, man, this is, something that's ready to pop. And then it's been 5 years since the last record.
Yeah, we did our last record. I guess it came out in 2015, and we had one of those typical meltdowns where all these things happen, and we had to kind of find ourselves again. And we got back together, and we decided that we were gonna write, and we were just gonna keep writing. And we wrote like 70 songs. When it was said and done, I've got another computer that's got like 20 and about 50 on this one. And we picked 11. We threw away 59 songs, and we put all our eggs in this basket. So, I mean, we put everything on the table this time.
that's badass. So Robbie's been telling me about this song. Do you mind if we play one of your songs here live, a video of it?
Oh, not at all, man. That would be awesome.
All right. So you actually own the rights to this. It's not anybody else right now. So
Yes, yeah, we do everything in house. So every song we've on that album, we wrote it, we recorded it, we mixed it, we mastered it.
That way we won't get shut down. Oh, there we go.
we won't get kicked in the teeth.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and play it right here, man. A Fall to Break.
Remind me of all the pain I caused. Living in the moment without a moment to waste. And I find what I hate, I do it anyway. Cut out what I'm feeling, forget the missing sun. The shadows bring me pleasure, and hide what I become. If I'm rotten on the inside, I don't regret what I have done, because the night is probably closer to the star that I'll become when I am done. One step is all that I must take. Keep focus, never look away. Closer and closer with each mistake that I'll make. Will this blade be the death of me? Cut out what I'm feeling, forget the missing sun. The shadows bring me pleasure, and hide what I become. If I'm rotten on the inside, I don't regret what I have done, because the night is probably closer to the star that I'll become when I am done.
Keep those.
Cut out what I'm feeling, forget the missing sun. The shadows bring me pleasure, and hide what I become. If I'm rotten on the inside, I don't regret what I have done, because the night is probably closer to the star that I'll become when I am done.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Robbie
badass.
Robbie just
Drake-
like annihilated
So Drake, this is something you can play on Jack FM, right?
No.
it. Yeah, that's any help is always appreciated. We've been out here struggling a long time now.
Yeah, that's wicked cool, man. I actually really like that.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. I heard he had put out, or you guys had put out a single, what, in July? When is that when it was?
Yeah, we got I'm friends with the guy from Running with Scissors. He does the Postal series, the video games. And so he, from time to time, when they do, updates to the game or they got a new game coming out, he hits me up and, we send him a few tracks and they got a team in Russia and whatever. And these guys pick, whatever song. We've been lucky enough to be on it, I think like 3 or 4 times. And it's, one of our songs, Pick Up the Pieces, we did a video for, and it's, I think it's approaching like 60,000 views. They wouldn't let us do any of the promotion on it because of the content, but it's all pretty much from that game, and you'll read through the comments and you just see people making remarks of all the statements that go on in the game. So those guys really helped us out a lot.
Cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
So
what
we
I,
released that song, we weren't supposed to really release that song. That was actually the demo version. So we re-recorded, once we had the 11 songs, we re-recorded everything. So the version that's up there is actually like a demo version, but we knew that we couldn't like miss out on the opportunity. It was a big release for them. So
Yeah, it's when you had sent me the video to that and I heard it, and I had just got done tracking for 2 different projects that were kind of heavy like this, you know, solo spots. And as soon as I heard your song, I was like, God, I want to play on you guys' stuff. That's why I hit you up. I was like, man, hey, I want to play a solo on a song. So it worked out. It was cool.
Like I had literally been thinking about asking Robbie to play on one of our songs for so long. And I was actually telling him the other night, you know, I know a couple guys that have, you know, a lot of respect in the business, and I've kind of hinted at them before, and they were like, oh, we got contracts and no, we can't do it, you know? So I was like, well, I'm not going to ask Robbie, you know, like we have a good relationship. I didn't want to really, you know, put any strain on that or whatever. So when he hit me up and he's like, we had a song that song halfway done. And it was like, we just started it, I think the night, you know, it was a late night. I talked to Robbie and I was like, all right, cool. I got the song. I know exactly which one it is. And then we kind of collaborated on the middle of it and got it all put together, you know, and I mean, it turned out really good. Robbie slaughtered it. I mean, when I heard it, I was blown away, but then he sent me the clip for the video and I got to see it. I was just like, oh my God. So everybody in Tucson's like tripping, you know, that he's on our song in the first place, but to see it, you know, a lot of the younger guys who didn't get to know the legend of what Robbie left behind here, you know, reintroduces him to them, you know.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
he's definitely got a strong following everywhere, but yeah, I got to see him in Tucson. Wasn't it your birthday or something like that when we went out to see you, when I went out to see you in Tucson? Your whole family came out.
No, wouldn't have been my birthday. It wasn't the Appice Brothers show, right?
No, it was
No.
you guys were headlining at that club there in Tucson.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was
remember
just
who opened
just
for
a
that.
show. I don't remember why.
But just to see the love and the support that came out and the people, I mean, it was definitely fandom. Now I'm used to seeing it at the shows, you know, because I don't know if you know much about what we do, but I promote concerts as well as work on the air, and I put them on the stage, you know, 8, 9 times now. But you see it then, but in Tucson it was special, man, because it was all Focus Robbie, and it was like I was hearing about Rock Lochner and Dig Jelly, and I was like, this is really badass, man. So that song
Yeah,
kicks
it's
ass.
funny, like I started getting some of Robbie's friends hitting me up, you know, and like, I mean, just the amount of respect he has, the amount of work he put in, like, you know, when I was coming up and trying to earn the respect of like the guys who came before me, you know, like Gat Rot and Aggressive Sound Session and Grudge Holder and, you know, these type
Oh,
of
you know,
bands.
Grudge Holder?
Yeah, oh yeah, Damon talks about you all the time.
Damon, yeah. He
I
was
seen him on Saturday night, and he was telling me stories about sitting in your kitchen, like watching you play. Just that's all he wanted to do is sit there and watch you play, you know. And
oh, that's
I
funny.
mean,
Yeah,
it's definitely.
he used to
it's
hang out with my
definitely-
sister a lot. They were in the same grade, so there was a core of kids that used to come around. And
Yeah, he's telling me Wendy,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Yeah, he's like, tell him I said to tell his sister hi. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, no, everybody. As soon as I started talking about you playing on it, I heard about a bazillion Robbie Lochner stories. So I mean,
Hopefully they're
forget
good.
about- It's like he was born with a guitar in his hand.
Everybody in the room, chat room, is just going on and on about how the song was. Was it on iTunes yet?
The pre-order, so it's really weird because they gave us this link and it doesn't work. So I just pretty much eliminated the link. But if you go to iTunes and you search for A Fall to Break, you'll see it pop up and it says Divided by Tyrants. So you can pre-order it on iTunes, and then I think it'll come out like a few hours early if you do it that way. But on all the platforms, Amazon, Google, Spotify, you know, everything short of Pandora right now, it should be live on November 1st.
Sweet. Well, send me an MP3 if you can, or I'll find it, and I might throw it out there a little bit more. So, band name, where we can find you.
Break. What's that? Sorry.
Band name, where we can find you, where we can download you, and let's make this happen here, brother.
Yeah. Right now we're working on our website, so it's kind of down, but you can find us on Facebook, www.facebook.com, A Fall to Break Official. And that's kind of, we're working on everything right now. We're trying to, we were kind of old school. We used to hit the road and get in the van and, slang CDs to anybody that would buy them everywhere we went, and hit up people in their businesses and whatever we had to do to survive. So I'm trying to kind of get into this whole digital thing. I was talking to Robbie about it, like, with coronavirus and everything else going on, it's kind of a good time for us to dive in. And it's been 5 years since we put out a record, and a lot changed in 5 years, actually. So,
Back at that time, you guys won a couple of competitions too, didn't you? Like 2 of them back to back, pretty big competition.
yeah, actually, we won one here that put us on KFMA Day, which was a big deal. We were the first local band to, there was actually a band before us. Fate played it some years before, but they started doing the contest, and we were the first band to win the contest. So we got to play. It was like 3 days great. And I mean, when we played, they said they hadn't seen that many for that early in years, because we were, a big deal here. And then we actually won 2 of the Uproar contests that they were having. We did the one in Phoenix with Jane's Addiction and Alice in Chains, and then we won again the next year, and we got to go up to Albuquerque, and we did that one. It was like Rob Zombie and Godsmack and Seether, and it was this rare show. For whatever reason, they put Rob Zombie was on it. He wasn't usually on it, so it was like massive. We played in front of like well over 10,000 people. And they had a contest going where one band gets picked to do the whole tour the next year, and that was the last year they did it. They said they weren't going to do it anymore, and one of the stage guys who was in it told us, he's like, "You guys got it. You're going to play this whole tour next year." And then we heard that they were canceling it. It was like, oh my god. Wow. So, but it was a good run we had there for sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
You can get back there now. I don't know if you know the man who's popped in here on the screen with us here, but this is Leroy Butler, one of our dear friends. Obviously, Leroy is uber talented. Let's bring him in. Hey, Leroy, can you unmute yourself, my friend? Hit your mic button down on the bottom left-hand corner.
There you go. There you go. Hey, what's up? What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
How's it going, Leroy?
I'm good, man. How you guys doing?
Good.
We're just rocking out with Craig here, man. They got some kick-ass music, brother. Were you able to hear that?
Listen, I need to get a copy of that, man. That was awesome. That was awesome. Yeah, man. I like stuff like that, man. Hey, I'm gonna throw it out there. If we can work together someday, let's do that. Music is life.
I'm always looking to do more, bro. So we'll look at each other's connections, and I live in my little studio here, so I can send files, do whatever we gotta do for sure.
Right. All right. That's awesome, man. But keep up the good work. I like what I heard so far.
Thank you so much,
good
man.
stuff.
I appreciate it. We've been at it a long time, and like I said, we've been struggling a long time, so we really appreciate everything.
That's good stuff. And you're mixing. You do all the mixing, right, for the band?
Yes, we like I said, there's no ghostwriters involved. We wrote the whole record. It's all produced by us. We did the pre-production, we did the recording, we did the mixing, we did the mastering. Most of it's all in-house. Everything we do is pretty in-house right now. We were on a label and on a booking agency, and Robbie and I kind of went over that. But this one, we're just, we're trying to see where it goes, do the best we can do, and write the best songs we could write, and kind of give it that last push and see what we got.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it shouldn't be a last push. You just keep doing it, because I mean, you don't need any of that stuff, because you do it all in house. You proved it. It's right there for everybody to see. You don't need all these producers. You don't need any of that stuff. You guys have got it. You just got to keep doing what you're doing, and it's gonna pop.
Will.
I feel like it will. It's just we got to spread the word. That's where anything we can all do to spread the word. Let's get it out there and let people know. Tell everybody who's watching this live or in reviews, because I know we get a lot of reviews, to spread the word, spread the good word.
All right.
Yeah, every share counts, everything counts. We're trying to play the game right now, and it's I told myself I was not going to get involved with the whole charts and everything, and one of my rapper buddies is like, "Oh, you guys could chart and you could do blah blah blah," and then I got it all stuck in my head. So right now, the pre-orders and everything, I know it's a big task, but I feel like with the elections coming and everything, I don't think a lot of people are putting out records. So maybe we can come like a bat out of hell and make some noise. And,
Yeah.
you know, if not, hopefully everybody who does hear it likes it. And that's all that matters to us right now, is that everybody who catches ears on it enjoys it. And, you know, the rest of the charade and all that out there is, if that comes, that comes. But we want to be loyal to the ones who embrace us, you know.
Right. You know, right now, everybody needs an escape, man. Everybody needs an escape from not only the elections, but the pandemic, the fear, the everything that we're facing on an everyday basis, man. And music is such a beautiful escape. And
It really is. You know, to be honest with you, I've been like super heated about a lot of things. You know, I'm not like a super political person, but I am a pretty highly irritable person. And I heard you telling fight stories just earlier. Maybe one day we can get into one of those, but you know, it kind of gets on me. And this weekend, I was just like, you know what? I listened to Aerosmith all night on Friday, and I was like, all right, I'm taking it back, and try to come into this week with a new attitude. And that's what music does. You know, it did that for me literally this last weekend. So. And I heard some fight stories earlier. Maybe one day
we got somebody feeding back over here
on me. And this weekend, I was just like, you know, I listened to Aerosmith all night on Friday. And I was
James, hi down there, James. What's up, my brother?
How are you, man?
That's what music does.
I'm lovely, brother. How you doing?
Hold on, let me try to get you guys in. I'm getting a little.
It's his is looping through.
Is it looping?
Yeah.
There you go. That's better.
I watched your show. We binge watched your show right after your last show. Man, it was really good. We're looking for season 2.
So I got some news on that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not an official thing, but it looks like it was supposed to be November. Now we're moving December. December 18th is the kind of the launch date. We're very happy about that. But the one thing I'm going to say real quickly is to listen to your music with Robbie on the guitar. Bro, you guys killed it. Loved it. It was really right up my alley. And the only thing I can say is what we have to deal with right now is get your music out there is what this platform, the Hangout Live, is giving you right now. Social media, getting people to see what you're doing is the most important thing right now. And I love these guys. I've connected with these guys on another level. And I love these guys, man. They're very important to me. And moving forward, I'm going to do my best to be so instrumental to give these guys what I think they deserve, and they deserve a lot because you know what, they've been in this business, and I'm here for them, man. And they've given me a platform to get out and do my stuff, and I want to do the same for them. So I listen to your music, I love it, I think it's great, right up my alley, and anything that I can do for you to get it on social media, I'm here for you. And to the guy to my left, I'm going to do the same for you, man. I love your music too. I'm a guy that listens to everything, every platform that any type of music that's out there. But I've listened to you on my left, and I love what you're doing up there, man. So I'm here for these two guys who put on a great show every week. And I'm just here to support and give both of you guys on my upper right and my left a platform that everybody can come and listen to you guys too, man.
Cool.
I appreciate that, James.
Yeah.
I love you, my brother. We talk a lot, and James is such a good human being, just like Leroy. Leroy starts off my day every day with the most beautiful things and the most beautiful words. Yeah, here, let me see my phone for a minute. Let me
Go on, man. Go on.
bring it right now. I'm not. All right. So I got Leroy and I are on this WhatsApp, and then obviously we text back and forth. But every morning we up with some apostle gospel that's just straight from the heart. Let's see what'd you hit me with this morning, man.
Oh man, you are. Oh God.
But he says, Lord, there's coming this week. Dear Lord, prepare me for the things coming in this week. Free my mind, my heart, my soul from all negativity. Help me see my mistakes as a lesson and help me grow with each lesson. It goes on from there. But honestly, I sit inside this studio right here every single morning and I read these words and it takes me to a different level. It takes me to a different, absolutely, James. It takes me to a different mindset to where I end my show every day when I'm on the air with, to each and every one of you listening, I love each and every one of you. Thank you for spending this time with me. And that's what we need right now. I don't give a
You could say it. You could say it.
side of the aisle you fall on. We are all family. I don't care about your skin color. I don't care about your religion. I don't care about your sexual orientation. I don't give
Exactly.
a listen to country, rock, hip hop. We are all family, and that right there is what it's all about. And I'm blessed to have all of you guys in my life. So thank you.
Oh my God.
So,
No
so
problem, man.
for those who don't know, Leroy and I are collaborating. We've been collaborating through WhatsApp. He'll sing some ideas and we go back and forth, and then I'll send him stuff. I'm recording here in my studio. We got 3 songs that we are hoping to get out soon. Of course, it depends on how soon I can get the drummer in here. I've been pushing him. Once I get those drums on here, it'll start moving fast, but we're going to have some stuff out. And it's
Yeah.
cool. It's different. We're looking for a hybrid of sounds.
Yes, definitely. I'm so glad, everyone that's on the platform tonight, I've been in this industry now for about 30 something years, and music is life. That's all I can say, because, it takes you through your day. It wakes you up. It keeps you moving. And, I love all sorts of music, but, I believe in the Most High, and I believe in things coming together. And this is a unity of strength right now, because like you say, so many things is going on in the world. People are worrying about the wrong set of things. They're worrying about skin color and your religion and all of this, but it's one common goal and one common thing, and that's love. And if we get together and show love, we have the platform. Matt, Robbie, and the rest of you guys, we write music, we produce, we manage, we do all of this. We have the power to make the world a better place, because it's a lockdown right now, and what else are people doing? Listening to music or on the internet or whatever. And good music makes good people, and I'm so glad when Robbie introduced me to Matt, and the whole thing just dwindled down from there, because it was supposed to be. It's a time and a season for everything. And when that unity came together, it's just explosive. And I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy the music that we're going to put out there. Where I'm from, it's from the Caribbean, so we have a Caribbean sound that I want to mix with the stuff that Robbie is going to bring in, the drummers and everything else. And I'm always into collaboration. So guys, let's get together. Let's make this happen. We have the platform. We can do this. So Robbie, I appreciate you for meeting you that night in the hotel. Matt, I thank you for allowing me to have a platform to speak on and to sing on and to express myself, and I'm just thankful, man. I'm thankful to you guys 100%.
It's crazy is we were talking a little while ago. Robbie and I were talking about back in the day when I was still working as a bouncer and stuff.
Yeah.
In clubs. And now, Leroy, I can't tell you how many times we let the dogs out play in those clubs.
Yes.
I'd be standing there and I'd be jamming into it. For me, it's so surreal to be sitting here 30 years later. Well, no, has it been 30 years?
No, it's been, I think it's 20. I think
20,
20
yeah,
years.
20. We just celebrated the 20-year anniversary of Who Let the Dogs Out. So
20
yeah, it was
years.
about 20, yeah.
And I'm sitting in my studio, sitting here talking with you and have a true friendship with you. To me, that is absolutely surreal. And growing upon that. Craig, we just met, but man, I'm a huge supporter already. We can get it out. We can put your spots on here. I can talk to every DJ I know, and I know way too many of them.
Never know enough, but
That's good. It's a good thing.
Everything else, and I've actually watched you guys show a couple times. I saw the one with the dude from Candlebox. We played with those guys in Michigan, and it was like me and my singer just, so godly. You know what I mean? Like, what do you even say about those guys? So that was the first time I seen it, and I thought it was a really neat platform, and you guys are expanding upon it. with this thing, and I think it's super cool, and I appreciate everything bringing us on, and Robbie playing on the song, and just everybody for, you know, everything. It's much appreciated in our camp for sure. And hopefully
The
we
one
can,
thing I want to say real quick is Robbie and Drake, and I know this from being part of this show, is it's all about goodness. It's about family. And the one thing that we have to know right now going through this pandemic is it's family. And bringing music, like if we talk about music, music is universal. When you listen to a song, you're listening to somebody who's singing a song. You don't know if they're black or white or whatever, but it moves you. Art moves you. My wife's an artist, and we're into the arts world of something that is you're going to see something, you're going to listen to something, but it moves you. It's not black or white. It's that's where we want to live in our world, and that's where we should move forward in this world. I don't want to live in a black and white world. I want to live in a world where there's no color, man. I want to live in a world where I'm going to listen to something, I'm going to watch something, I'm going to do something, and I want to have none of this prejudgment going on. This is the most important thing moving forward for our elections in November the 3rd, is go out and vote with your heart. Go out and vote with that intention only. What moves you? How do we want to proceed in this world in the next 4 years? And that's the most important thing for me. But Drake and Robbie, man, you guys, I met you guys. I love you guys. I am a big supporter of yours, and I'm going to stay a supporter of yours for the duration. So anything that I can do with you guys, I want to jump on as much as I can. And I so much appreciate you, man. I really, really do.
James, you say your wife
tonight.
You say your wife's an artist, but come on, brother. You are one hell of an actor. I mean, seriously.
Thank you, man.
Robbie and I have been hooked on the show. We've been binge watching. I said early in the show tonight that my passion, my desire in life was always to be an actor. And to sit there and watch how you can change yourself and become somebody else and really dive into that role. It's like music. It's an expression. It's becoming something more than you. And it's just incredible, dude. You're awesome at it, brother.
Thank you, man. I mean, look, the one thing that I've always wanted to do was, they said, in this new show, I was going to become a writer. Well, you know, I'm not a writer. And they said, you know, you're going to be this character where you're going to have a family, which I do. And you're going to be this writer who's very passionate about what you do. And so to indulge yourself into different things is great. Like everybody else who wants to do music and go, hey, I'm doing this style of music. I want to jump over to this style of music. I think is great, because jumping into these different platforms, I think, is so important for all of us. And music, acting, art, it's all universal. And artists in general, man. I think artists in general, like across the board, I don't think that we see color. I mean, dancers, singers, actors, performers. I think that it's a very, very unique group of people, and those are the type of people that the mentality that's the people that we have to have moving forward.
Yes.
Is we don't see that, and I think that's key for all of us moving forward.
Yeah. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
You know, Stuart Marriott said it best: bury your inner weapons for peace. That's what it all boils down to, is, man, is just get past the hatred. The only thing I feel hatred towards is chosen ignorance. That's it.
Exactly.
You know,
Yes,
you
for
choose
sure.
to be ignorant, I'm not going to be a fan of yours. That's all there is to it. So I feel kind of underrated at sitting here. I've got Robbie, who's just, you know, the Loch Ness guitar monster sitting up there. We got Craig, incredibly talented, and dude, you're going to be on big stages way before long. Leroy, seriously? And James Hyde, I'm like a DJ. What are we doing here?
Whatever. You're making it happen. That's what you're doing here.
That's it, my friend. That's
Making it happen, man.
Leroy, Robbie tells me that you're also working on a hook for him and I to work on, and obviously with you.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, my mind is always open. So that day when we had that conversation on the phone and you were just letting me know how your day went, and you were like, you couldn't be creative. I was like, wow. I was like, that's why I sent you the voice note, and I was like, our life is creation. You know, everything that you do, everything that you say is being creative. So when you said that you couldn't, you didn't have the time to come up with a hook, you were talking to me and like all sorts of hooks just came falling in. And I was like, wow, it was like you had thousands of songs just by talking to me that day. So I called Robbie and I was like, Robbie, he said like, he can't come up with a hook. I was like, but I got one for him. It just grabbed me and I was like, I have to do it, and that's my gift. That's my gift. I take life and just make things out of it. Because right now I'm not going to say my life is a bed of roses, but every day something happens, I make the best out of whatever is going on in my life. I take things and just and turn it into song. I create things. So I got you, man. I'm ready. I'm ready.
You guys are under one of the most strict lockdowns still, aren't you, down there in the Bahamas?
Yeah, we just came out of lockdown this morning. We're on a weekend lockdown whereby we lock down from 7 until 6 every weekday. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday we're under strict lockdown, no movements or whatever, unless maybe like church or emergencies. But during the week, it's locked down still from 7. So the country has to shut down from 7 until 6. We extended it until the ending part of this month coming. So, we're just trying to do whatever we could do to try and sustain this COVID thing. But, only God knows, I guess.
That's right. That's right. Did you get too hot next to the fire, James?
I did.
Yeah.
My computer was actually dying. But here's my question to the musicians that are on this right now. How do you stay creative through this? And because we're on this, even in LA right now, we're even Robbie knows this, is that different counties are becoming different colors. Like we're at a purple, we're going to shut down maybe again, I hope not. But as a musician, you're in a band and you're creating music. How has that changed since March? That's what I wanted to ask. I mean, I have to put myself on self-tape. Used to, I'd go into casting directors and they would put me on tape, or I would go in and read for a casting director. But musicians and writers, how do you stay creative through this process? And I'm very intrigued with that. I mean, do you guys get on Zoom calls? Do you guys get on different calls to be creative? How's that working out for you guys?
I think it depends on who you're working with. Like with Leroy, we do it through WhatsApp. I mean, he'll send me stuff. He's saying some ideas. I go, oh, okay. And I'll sit there and listen to it. And then I'll start putting music to it. And then I'll put another part to it and more music to it. And then I'll record it down, a basic track, and send it to him and go, okay, what do you think of this? And then maybe throw some lyrics on it, maybe not, depends. And then just kind of grow from there. What do you think of this? And then add more and then bounce it back and forth until we get the arrangement ready. And then I kind of put a template, just a rough template together, and then get a drummer in. That's the next step. So it depends.
Does that work? Like when you're working with people in the room, is there some sort of a separation of that at the moment, or is it still being able to work and collaborate?
From working with him, I've never collaborated with him any other way. So that's all I know is how we're developing what we're doing, and it's working. So I'm going, okay, it's working now. Working with Jack Russell, we're used to being in the same room together. So he has a hard time trying to get on and go. I'm going, dude, we can do this on Zoom. It's really, I know there's lag time, so we can't play and sing along, but we can still play the idea and bounce things back and forth. So he'll start kind of getting accustomed to that, I'm sure. But that was more of the relationship, sit in the room, sing and play, bounce around ideas until we get them. But I think it's, anything's possible as long as I can hear. I don't even really need to see. As long as we can hear, you could do it over the phone.
Right.
Yep.
So Craig, who is Nathan Tyler?
Oh, the guy.
That's your guy?
My
No
singer,
idea.
he would expect me to say something like that, but he's probably hoping that I don't talk about the process of our writing, is what I'm imagining, huh?
No, he's all over in here. He's giving us some great information, and he sounds like he's definitely a member of the band, correct?
He's the singer.
He's the singer.
Yeah, he is.
Dude's got some.
He is a genius
Just the
of a
singer.
musician. Yeah, he's a super genius of a musician, no questions asked. See, I haven't seen the guy come across an instrument he can't play well, and it's actually pretty irritating.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Right
he
on,
grabs
man.
you name it, saxophone, bass guitar, piano. I mean, he's just a incredibly talented guy. He's one of my best friends in the world, and it's him and I left basically from the original conception of this, and we've been through a lot together. And yeah, he's a super talented guy.
He's I'm trying to read some of the streams here. He's saying that let me see here. He was talking about where they could find the music, how that it just came out. Was it yesterday that song came out?
Yeah,
That
we
video
released
did.
a song
The video.
yesterday.
Badass.
The record drops on November 1st, though. So that's just kind of like a teaser to get people interested in, it's a
Yeah,
pretty
and
much a normal move like a record label would do, but they're doing it themselves.
Yeah, and we kind of tried to follow that guidelines. Like, we've got our friend Isabel right now. She's been like grinding on it. So when we release the record, we're gonna have 11 lyric videos ready to go. She's making them. I think she's got like 1 or 2 left to go right now.
It's cool.
The video, and we're trying to make sure that we do all, because what happened to us last time is we kind of slacked on it, and then by the time we got to doing it, all these other people had made lyric videos for them, and it's like, well, I guess we don't need to do that anymore. So we're
Right.
just trying to be on top and do it, the same way that they would. And it's kind of funny because I figured that Nathan was over there. Like, I hope he doesn't talk about our writing process, because it didn't really change a lot for us. We were writing a record for 4 years, and it was like all of a sudden the coronavirus came, and it was scary for a minute, but we're like, we're not going to stop what we're doing. And, my philosophy is to paint the picture of what it is I'm after before I get there. Right. So it's like, I kind of have a feeling of what we're going for, and being the guy who sits behind the desk and making it all work and everything. I think the best steps I made was being able to see it before I actually did it with the mix or with the song itself, and have those inputs as far as writing. But one of my biggest things is to make sure all of my band members are extremely miserable at all times.
You just said that is very true.
Yeah, so there's no comfort. Like, I take them, I will get inside their heads and bring out things they don't want to hear about, and whatever it takes. But I feel like a lot of bands, they lose the hunger or whatever it is, the inspiration to do. How many bands do you know that you heard their first 2 records are like so amazing, and then by the time you got to the 3rd one, they were like rich and they didn't have any problems anymore, or whatever it may be. And then it's just kind of like a downhill thing. And I think for me is like, if I can stay in their heads and keep them angry or whatever it is to get that out of them, then we get better results. And they hate me. They've hated me for like 4 years straight.
Do you use electrical shocks, or do you use
What's funny about that is, in my old band, my singer was in the booth singing, and I ran in there and burned him with a cigarette. So,
That's rock and
it's
roll,
been a
brother.
tradition, it's like, I want more. Like, I can never get enough. I want more out of people, and I'm one of those people who doesn't sleep until it's done. So like, this whole last like 3 months we've been wrapping this thing up and getting it done, I probably slept like a week's worth of hours. So I'm a grinder. That's what I do. I get it done, and I work until it's done, and they know that. So I annoy them a lot, and eventually we get over it, and I have to make up for all the emotional damage I caused them.
James, have you ever been on a set where the director's like, all right, cut, hang on, James, come here. Let me burn you with my cigar. This is
No, but we've come pretty close to the emotional degrading part of when I first started. we had a director that was a bit of a dictator on the set, and he would try to berate people and whatever. But you know what I've learned over my career is to work with people who are very positive and want to give very positive moments. I'm not saying that your direction is not the right direction. I'm saying that sometimes I'm a coach in basketball for my son.
I love
He
basketball.
told me that, Dad, man, you got to tone it down. You know, you're that guy who's trying to, and I feel the same way as you. I was trying to get something out of my son or the players in a very how would I say emotional state, you know.
Yeah.
But getting back to that, I've worked with directors over the years that have had different styles, and you know what, you got to know who you're working with. You got to know, you know what, and what you said is a good point. Is if you're working with people, you got to kind of know their strengths and weaknesses, and you have to be a psychologist in a way of knowing that and knowing how to pull that out of different people.
Absolutely. And what's funny about that is I tell a lot of the bands, because I treat my band differently than I treat the other bands, just because we're all brothers and I expect that they're just going to have to deal with me. But you know, you're only as strong as your weakest member. And I tell bands this all the time. Like, I mean, you could have Robbie Lochner over there just wailing on the guitar, but if your bass player can't play along with them, you know what I mean? Then you need to tone that down, because when I see a band, I see this band and they're like, you know, these death metal bands and they're like a million miles per hour and they're tight versus when they're sloppy. It's a world of difference, right? So yeah, in my opinion, I think you're only as strong as your weakest member. So in a way, you do use that psychology to kind of make everybody meet on the same plateau, where it's like, we're not doing something that this dude can't do, you know?
Right.
So everybody's kind of in there, and that's a lot of us. I mean, we're no Robbie Lochners, you know what I mean? We're not like, I mean, that dude's a special breed of talent, but when we come together and, you know, we collaborate on a level that it's never out of our realm of what we can do or what the weakest guy can do at that style or whatever it is we're doing. And I think that's kind of why our songs have the success in what we have had on our lower level, if you want to call it success. Just our tours and everything we did, you know, it was just, our songs are written that way to where we look good versus, you know, well, this guy looks good and the rest of the band's over there struggling. You know, you see it a lot. I'm sure Robbie's seen it a billion times.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, we've got questions coming in. We're going to have to bring Jessica in for a moment. And then after that, I want to know if Robbie's ever had to been burned with a cigarette to get motivated. Leroy, get out the blowtorch real quick, man. We're going to get this happening.
You please, yes. No
right.
cigarettes.
No cigarettes, man. All right. So I see Jess is there, but her camera's not on.
I don't know why it's not, because it shows that it is, but
We can hear you.
Push,
see,
There. Oh. All right. So
it's off there.
all right. Well, we can hear you.
should I
Okay.
try and go? Try. Oh, there
There
we go.
we go. Hi, everybody.
All right, but the first thing I want to say is you do not have a face for radio, by the way. You're very beautiful, so we need to see you.
I have a kindergarten face, kindergarten teacher, remember?
Yes, I do, but I want to see you because you're so beautiful.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I have questions for everybody. So I'm going to start off with the last question that just came in. And this question is from Brenda. And she wants to know what you guys think, everybody. Do you guys think, because of this hardship that we're going through now with the COVID and everything and staying home and the lockdown, do you think we will learn to appreciate our own lives and everybody else much more once this is all over? Whoever wants to answer, please, Kat.
I personally think that we probably already have done that in a lot of ways, right? I mean, there's been a lot of dividing moments, and I feel like personally everybody's getting involved in all these things that are started ripping us further apart. But if you look, even within the division, everybody within the division is unified into whatever it is they believe in. So I think we have kind of the beginnings of that. You know, I guess my biggest hope would just be that if we do get there and when it's all over with, that we don't forget about it very fast and just get back to, you know, whatever it was that we thought life was before this, and we remember and hold on to it. And, you know, 5 years later, it's not something that was just put behind us, and whether it affected us or not, or whatever, that it's just something we move forward from as people.
What do you think, James?
The one thing that I go back to, and I go back to it over and over again, is this pandemic has taught us about being closer to family. Family is everything to me, and family is everything. It reiterated to me going through this is what it meant to me to have this family. Because going through anything in your life, whether it be good or bad, you know, I've always had the support of my family, and I've always supported my family. So going through this has really taken me back to what the values are of family. And we're going through some difficult times right now. There's a lot of people that are we have an election coming up, November the 3rd. I don't need to remind people of that, but I think that this is a very important election for a lot of reasons. But I think the most important thing that this has brought me to and has taken me through this whole thing of family and quality. What you know, if we have good friends, let's stay with what quality. Let's spend quality time with people, and know what that represents. You know, and finding true friends of ours that we love and support. And so going through this whole thing has really taught me that, and the value of family and the value of friendship. So those are the kind of things that I think that I've gone through, and this is a very important thing moving forward, that I'll, you know, you have to take away these moments in your life and always remember, you know, we had a pandemic in March in 2020. Hopefully in 2025, we can look back on this and go, hey, this was a very bad thing that happened to us. But during that time, there was some really good positive moments that happened. And those are the things I'm going to take away from this.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say that in dark, well, it's not really true that there's light, but there is light in dark. There, you know, you could find the light in the dark, and you could say this is a dark time. There's a lot of light in it. Being able to spend the time with your family, being able to, you know, being closer with friends and stuff. For me, it's been, you know, yeah, I want to get out and play. I want to start making a regular living. But there's been a lot of good things in it. I choose to see the light and the positives that have come out of what's been going on. Though I realize that there are people who are in positions that probably can't.
Right.
You get in a situation where there's, you know, there's maybe 3 families in an apartment. It's pretty rough, you know. You're stuck in there. What are you going to do? It's got to be pretty brutal. I mean, for me, I'm fortunate enough that I sit now in my studio, and Jessica's in the other room here, and we've got a backyard, and we've got an upstairs, and we've got some breathing room for us, for a family of 4 in a house. That, you know, I know that we're fortunate. But there's definitely, I choose to see the light in the situation, and there is some of that, though I do want to get out and play.
No, I agree, Robbie. My son, we just participated in a basketball tournament over the weekend, and you know, we had kids that were going out in Carson, California, performing in a basketball tournament, and I think it's a must that we do this.
Yeah.
Because if we do not move forward in some shape or form, especially for the youth. I mean, my son's 15 years old, and you know, I never thought I would ever hear him say that I want to go back to school. Never thought I would hear that in a gazillion years from a 16-year-old boy. but he's yearning for that. He's yearning for this. And the only thing that I can tell you is, look, we can learn from the computer, and we can learn knowledge, factual stuff from schools. But the one thing that we can't do is give them the social platform where they have to go to school every day and they have to learn how to do adjustments with different interactions socially on a given day, every day of the week. Those are the most important things that we're missing. And, socializing and being part of these groups, that's how you grow. Learning shit from school, I can go on and you can put your kid in front of the computer for 3 hours and great, you can learn that. But what's missing from this is the social dynamic. And I think that that's very important for kids who are 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. And the only thing I can say is I hope 2021, we open that up, kids go back to school, we get some sort of normalcy moving forward.
Well, I believe this pandemic has slowed us down, but it has slowed us down for a reason, because I'm sure all of us, even as entertainers, musicians, we've always been going. Sometimes maybe not spending that much time with the family, or not even taking the time to really enjoy life. The simple things in life. And with me, it has brought me to a place whereby it slowed me down, and I was able to be more creative, enjoy life more, to think, to meditate, even to grow, spiritually, mentally, physically. Like you said, everyone isn't in the same position. So, this pandemic maybe was bad for some people. But, I feel once we have a mindset to grow and to push, light at the end of a tunnel, we can make the best out of it. And like with what we're doing now, I feel like this is making the best out of something, because sometimes we get stuck being so used to doing one particular motion. We have to break that cycle. Sometimes we have to shift, so to speak, in order for us to move forward or to even grow. So with this pandemic, that is what this has done for me. It has caused me to be more creative. It has caused me to really enjoy life more, family, like you guys say, family, spending time with the kids. And I hope that we all get something good out of this, out of this bad thing, because you could always get something good out of something bad. So, I don't look at it as a bad thing. I look at it as a good thing. You take the good with the bad and you run with it. So from this pandemic, I have really grown as a person, and then because of this, I met you wonderful guys. So, I hope we could continue to share this love in this lockdown. We're locked down physically, but not mentally or spiritually. So I want us all to remember that,
The one thing that I want to say real quickly, I'm going to go back on this, is the one thing that we all have to look at. This is very important for all of us. Is Mother Earth, I think, is the one entity that's grown from this. I mean, we've had this lockdown, and in India was the first time they've been able to see the mountains because of the air pollution has not been as much.
Yeah.
I think Mother Earth is the one who's benefited the most out of this. And I think that that's something that we need to continue, is think about Mother Earth and think about what we're doing and how we maybe can control moving forward, how we can control this earth that we live on. Because without this, we got nothing.
It's funny, from all the diversity on the people that we have on this evening, Craig, James, Leroy, Robbie, the message that you hear across the board is friendship, family, love, growth. Now, if you think about that, you think about what's going on right now in our nation, where nobody can agree, everybody's at odds, everybody really wants the same thing, and it doesn't matter who you are or what background you come from. Everybody kind of wants the same thing, kind of focuses on the same thing. If we could all just start listening more and stop screaming so much, we'd probably find out we're a lot more alike than what we all think we are.
So Jessica's got questions for all of us, but before she asks them, I'm going to just make one comment that you had mentioned quality time. Really what quality time is in a nutshell, in my opinion, is being in the moment. That's really what it is, because if you're not in the moment, it doesn't matter. You could be hanging with your kids, but if you're thinking about, I've got to do this or got to do that, or with, you're not in quality time. Quality time is being in the moment. And that's where all creation happens. That's where everything happens, in the moment.
In the moment.
Don't forget about yesterday. Don't worry about tomorrow. Be in the moment that you're in right now. Very good, Robbie. Awesome.
Like that.
Good
All
job.
right, Jess, what else you got? See, I had to remove myself from the camera because James said something about a face for radio.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Nothing
wow.
intended for you, brother.
Oh man, it stung, brother. It stung. Hit me right.
No, that is
Now, he was just using that for his reason to run to the bathroom. Come on now. The truth.
No, the minute he said that, I was like, I got to click my camera up. I don't belong.
not that whatsoever. But I wanted to bring her beautiful face up. And
All right, thanks, my brother. Jess, what else you got?
Leroy, you were mentioning your kids. There was a question about your kids. I know you have several beautiful kids. All your kids are beautiful. But is anyone following in your footsteps as far as music?
It is so weird. Every last one of them. My oldest kids, they're into music 100%. They're in bands. They read, they write, they play music. Even to the younger ones, they dance, because a lot of people, like I said, are multi-talented. So I'm a professional dancer. I'm a professional limbo and fire dancer. I'm a DJ. So all of my kids literally has my gifts and my talents. They're all following in it. So it's an awesome thing to see. They're keeping it going, and I love it.
Great. And how many kids do you have? You know I was going to ask that.
Yeah, because I saw someone posted again. I was like, oh gosh, yes, I have 18. I love all of them.
18.
do you get any rest?
Yeah,
How much-
now I do.
How many bands can he have out of those kids? There's a lot of bands in
A
there.
few. A few.
Yeah, like
James just fell out of his chair, man. Look what you did to Craig.
I'm sorry,
A choir.
guys. I'm so sorry.
that's pretty heavy, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna start a band soon, and that's
Bands,
tour.
not bands.
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 Bands. Yeah, that's true. That'll be a pretty big band.
I was thinking earlier when James was saying he was coaching basketball, and I was thinking, man, Leroy beat.
Yeah,
He's not OT.
like 3 teams. Like
Yeah, he's almost got the offense and defense for a football team.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Oh man.
Is for Robbie. Jennifer wants to know, how many times do you play guitar each day?
How many times?
Like
8,000.
90% of the day, right?
Robbie, how many times do you play with your thing during the day?
That's a good question. That happens a lot. So let's
More
see.
than a guitar.
It's just, I try and play every day. There's some times where it doesn't happen. I know for years I didn't miss a day, but now I pretty much, if I'm busy in the studio, if I'm not playing, then I make sure I try and get that balance where I go and I go out and I play in the living room. At the end of the night, I try and at least get a couple hours in. It's just, I really try to push to get better, and it's hard to do that without putting amount of time in that's needed. And really a lot of it's so much mental anyhow. So it's really, I'm focusing on that mental part of pushing myself forward. But every day, for how long, it depends on the day. So, and I guess it would depend on who you ask in the family.
About 90% of the time. I'll tell you, James, we loved your Monaca. And Robbie he can't just sit down and watch TV. He has to play guitar while he's watching TV. And I'm like, Robbie, put it up higher, put it up higher.
She's wanting me to turn up the guitar because I add the extra intense scenes. When your character started to change, I started noticing, oh, your character's getting a twist to it here.
I turned it. Well, it depends on who you talk to, but my whole thing is being a writer. I want to write about truth, so I'm trying to find the truth. And the one thing that you don't do is go against the family. And in essence, that's basically
what's happening.
Chosen my career, my passion over family. And you'll see in season 2 how that affects everything, whether it be I've done the right decision or going against a billionaire family from Mexico, how that's going to transcend into season 2. Well, the only thing I can tell you is the first 2 episodes, you'll see very clearly how that turns out for me. And as we go through season 2 and to the final, what happens. But
Scaring me.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty much black and white. If you're going to do what you do, you got to have some consequences. But this guy is somebody who's very smart and knows how to wheel and deal. So you'll see how that happens in season 2.
You have
The only thing I can say is I make it through season 2.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay.
Good. We're glad. I'm glad. And since we're on you, we were seeing on Instagram that you had some posts about some new works happening. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we have a movie called Dutch that's going to be released November 26th. It's a movie I've been working on for a while. It seems like it's the longest project known to man. But during COVID, I'm sure that everybody's gone through the same thing where you start something and then you have to push the pause button. And we did some reshoots on that recently, and that'll go. I have a Lifetime movie that's coming out in 2021. And I have a couple of other projects that's been pushed. But it's been a very good year for me under the circumstances. And I'm just blessed, man. I'm really blessed and thankful for everything that happens. And but yeah, we got some good stuff coming out. Monarch is going to be released in December. I have a movie called Dutch that's coming out. And then I have a Lifetime movie that it's going to be released in 2021.
Is Dutch also on Netflix?
It's going to be limited release in theaters, and then it's going to go to Netflix.
Okay. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Great. And Craig, we had a question for you. Dave wants to know, he's not on iTunes, so how else can he get your album?
If it's not on iTunes, then just November 1st, it's going to be on Google, Amazon, all those other links. The only one that right now I don't think we're going to be on is Pandora. I'm looking into that, but it looked like pretty much Deezer, and there's a list of them that it'll be available on November 1st.
Okay, great. We have a family that lives in Arizona, Robbie's family, and his nephew Michael was saying he's heard so much from you from his good friend Blake. I don't know if you know Blake, Steve. What's his last name, Robbie?
We call him Blake, Steve. I don't know. I really don't know. We call him Blake, Steve, whatever.
Oh, yeah,
You probably recognize him if you saw him. If he's been, you notice him at a show. You'd probably notice him.
He's a fun person. I've got a story about him, but I'm not allowed to tell it.
You know him. Okay, you do know him. Okay.
Not on camera anyway.
If he's watching right now, he hates my guts so much, too.
That's all right. I harass him all the time. So.
Okay. And then, sorry, were you going to say something, Craig?
I said, I like Steve. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a good guy. Matt, Veronica wants to know, how can the viewers contribute to help the show going, help the hangout keep going?
Well, obviously, I mean, share it, watch as much as possible. I know she hit me up earlier talking about if they can donate to help offset cost and keep the show going. And absolutely, I mean,
Well, the thing is, we will be moving over to Twitch TV pretty soon. It's close. So once you move to Twitch, it's going to be a different thing. And hopefully that's the format that can really help it blow up.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, there's cost involved. We need to get some more equipment. Twitch has kind of got a different platform that'll require some different things. And if they want to get involved that way, that's great. All they got to do is reach us through the Hangout Live page, and we can take
So,
care.
I'm just curious, who's your assistant in the background? Because you haven't introduced us to her, and she seems to be very part of the program. Who is that?
That is my wife, Andrea. And she is working the phones diligently, trying to keep up because
Who are you?
to Facebook, say hi.
Hi.
Hey.
She answers for me, so everything you see that comes back from Matt Drake is generally her. But
It looks like something you would say. She clearly knows you.
she's smarter than I am anyway, brother. So hey, everybody's been going on and on and on tonight about Robbie and what a guitarist and how crazy good he is. I'm gonna just kind of blow Robbie up for just a second here. I'm doing it, Robbie.
Oh no, don't do that. You should do the beginning to Spy versus Spy. It's shorter and it's more to the point.
Isn't it?
What's that?
Isn't Spy versus Spy licensed?
That's a good question. It probably is.
Come on.
It's a little long-winded. That's
Hey, Robbie, I have to ask you a question, real quick. Since the passing of one of the greatest guitarists of our time, Eddie Van Halen,
Yeah.
Who were your influences playing as a kid growing up? And the second question is to everybody, what was their favorite Van Halen song? And I'm going to go out and say mine real quick before you answer is Dead or Alive, which I think was on number 2,
Yep.
Van Halen 2. And what I loved about it was, first of all, I loved the performance of the singing, but Van Halen for me was my childhood growing up. But for you, who was your musical influences as a guitar player? Because I saw a little bit of Van Halen a little bit in your guitar playing in that piece.
Well, I mean, I was influenced by several players for sure, but he would be my biggest influence for sure. Because once Van Halen came around, that's when everything changed. The whole world changed. I mean, in my opinion, he was the most influential guitar player of all time because he really shaped a generation. I mean, they came out in what, 78, and he had the hair, the clothes, the sound, the songs, the whole 9 yards of performance, and everything changed after that. That whole generation was what it was because of him. And I know that it kind of went away by the time Kurt Cobain came around. It went away for a while, but it started coming back again, and the influence will be felt forever. So for me, I mean, I loved Ritchie Blackmore. I was influenced by Nugent. I was influenced by Michael Schenker. And then Van Halen really was the guy that kind of pushed me when I knew it was time to move into a new thing and push me to expand upon what I was doing. Though since that time, I mean, I really didn't listen to guitar players so much after Eddie. I mean, I have, but I would listen to more like, Mozart, Bach, Paganini, Scott Joplin, or if I'm going to listen to a guitar player, it might be Brad Paisley or somebody, or Albert Lee, something that's different. But definitely Van Halen, super influential. And my favorite song would have to be, I mean, there's so many good ones to choose from. Though I would say I would go with Mean Street for the simple reason that I still remember walking down the hallway at my house when that song came out and it was on 96.1. They played that intro and it was being played on the radio. And I was like, what is that? It's going, that's insane. What is that? And I was going, it's got to be Van Halen. So I stopped. It was my sister had a radio in her room and I stopped there and I listened to it. And then the song came in. I was going, it's got to be Eddie, got to be Eddie. And then you hear, the drum sound and it's Alex, and then the singing and it's David, and they just have that sound. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. So then I had to go and learn it. I was like, I've got to learn that. What is that? And I've got to learn it. And it took me a while between myself and my brother that plays guitar. It took us a while to figure it out. There was no YouTube and stuff to learn back then. It was a record player. And he would learn a little bit and I would learn a little bit of it and eventually figure out how to play it. But it was just mind-blowing when I first heard that. And that was really the inspiration for that song we did on our last record, Spy versus Spy. I did that guitar intro. It's kind of got section like what was in that little thing we just watched, but it's more intense and more up in your face. And my thought was, I want it to be like a Mean Street intro. Yeah. Something that you just go, what was that? What just hit me,
Well, the first thing that I can say about Van Halen real quick, I'm going to pass the board around, was my brother, 96, I think it was 96.1, QFM 96 in Columbus, Ohio. My brother had some studio monitor JBL speakers in the basement where the boys lived. And I remember when Eruption first came out, when he turned that shit up to the max and I heard Eruption, I was like, what just happened in this room, right? And then the whole album from that point forward was like, this was something that was a movement that was like, they were beyond. And Eddie Van Halen was the best guitar player, I think, in rock for a lot of reasons. But Craig, I would like to hear your first Van Halen song and what you thought of Van Halen at that moment.
My parents were like both rockers, so like everything, we listened to like Zeppelin and Sabbath and Deep Purple and The Firm, and I mean, just both of my parents were into harder rock, and I kind of developed that thing with Aerosmith and whatever at a young age. And I remember the first, like, I think my favorite song, first of all, would probably be Running with the Devil, just because it's so hard, like,
yeah.
What can you say? I mean, that's all, it's like money, right? You hear it right now and you're like, that was money.
Yeah.
But if there was one thing I remembered, it was definitely like the drums and like just how heavy it was. Their drummer is just so beast. And then, Eddie Van Halen comes out of left field and it was like rock god. You just know when you heard it, that was like, it was meant to be. He was a legend. There's no hiding it. He influenced everybody. And, I heard stories, he's a little before my time as far as like ever getting to see it or whatever, but I've heard all kinds of legendary stories about, how he invented so many things that have to do with the technique of guitar. And I mean, who gets to say that, right? Not very many people.
The sound specifically, I think that he invented a certain sound that he created.
I like it. maybe Robbie can answer it, but I like heard stories when he was first getting up and there was all these kids trying to play his licks and he'd like turn his back to the crowd when he'd rip the solo or whatever, trying to prevent the kids from ripping him off.
Right. Did
you ever hear that?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, when you have something that brand new, I don't know. I mean, when has that happened again, really, you know?
Yeah.
Does
And it was mostly his tapping is what it was. He was trying to hide that. Though his tapping, there was guys tapping, what's the guy's name? The guy in the 40s was doing it very different, but he was doing it. So it's been around. It's just that he brought it to the forefront and changed things in the way he did it in his tone. And I mean, the first time I heard Eruption, it was the same thing, like, wow. I think Mean Street surprised me more, but I mean, of course, Eruption did. And I knew at that time I had to learn that. And in fact, it's a kind of funny story, but I played Eruption at my senior show. I played that and Heartbreaker, 2 guitar solo things. You know, here I'm in the senior show and I got a band and I'm soloing and they're standing there waiting for me. It's kind of ridiculous when I think about it, but that's how influential it was.
Wow. Leroy?
Well, like I said, I listen to a lot of different stuff. I think the Van Halen song that comes to mind would be Jump. I think because my dad, growing up around my dad is a guitar player as well. So, you know, when he used to play different places and stuff like that, you know, they used to have to get their playlist together. So that was a song that I always used to hear him, you know, practicing and stuff like that. So I think that one sticks to my mind. I wanted to be a guitar player, but I guess not enough practice.
What a controversial song, though, too, right? I mean, like they came out with all these blaring synthesizers, and everybody's like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
Right? Next, you know, it's like a #1 hit, and I guess that wasn't such a bad idea, was it?
Yeah, it was that whole thing where they turned a lot of people off, but they turned a bunch more people on. Another thing that was similar to that was Metallica, because when Metallica came out with the Black Album, I mean, it pissed off a lot of people, like probably like Damon, you know, Damon. There was this kid, Kevin, that hang out with my sister, Wendy, and I swear they bought the Black Album. And I go, oh, man, I'm really liking Metallica. I'm thinking, yeah, you know, he was so pissed off. He drove back by the record store and he threw it at the store he bought it from. I was like, wow, their biggest album. That's when they blew into the stratosphere.
Yeah, it's because of Enter Sandman, though, right? Everybody's like, I don't like that. It's too popular for me.
For the people that were fans from the get-go, yeah, they were, but then all the people they turned on to Metallica became so big after that. I mean, it just got ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah, but then you get like into the songs on the Black Album that weren't so popular, and they're like such great songs, you know what I mean? Like, Wolfen Man and all these, you know, there's some heavy songs on there, but nobody could look past the 5 that were on the radio all day.
Right.
Well, Zeppelin went through a little bit of a shift as well, you know. I mean, Led Zeppelin was one of the biggest rock and roll bands of all time, and even they went through a little bit of a shift, going through their rock and roll dynasty. You know, and I think all bands, if you're going to live in decades, through certain decades, then you're going to have to move a little bit and shift a little bit. And that's with all entertainment, I think. I mean, you know, if you're an actor, if you're whatever you do, you know, you have to go through some certain. There's going to be different decades where it's going to be a different thing. And if you want to be appealable, or if you want to stay who you are, you may transcend through that, or you may not. So it's sticking to your guns and who you are. And who you feel who you are, and if you want to move a little bit and shift a little bit, which I think is okay with all of it, you know.
You kind of need to. You need to reinvent yourself. I mean, other than AC/DC, who pretty much sounds the same, you know, they could get away with it. But I mean, look at the Beatles. When the Beatles came out with Sgt. Pepper's, how different was that? Wow. I mean, that complete from the pop to all of a sudden this drug-heavy thing. Great. And it was. They needed to do that movement, and to me, the later Beatles stuff I like it much better.
Me too. Me too. The one thing I will say is, real quickly, is when the Beatles started to perform live, they said when they were performing, they couldn't even hear themselves play.
Yep.
And they were like, you know what, that's not who we're about. And another great example is this. When I saw the Beastie Boys, the Apple documentary they had done, I give it up to the Beastie Boys, saying that they were going down a road that was like drinking beer, smashing beer cans on each other. They could have stayed on that platform, made a lot of money, but they were like, you know what, we can't do that. We're growing as artists, which I think Leroy and Craig, you guys will grow, and you guys, you're not certainly who you were when you first started. And that's not what people want. They want to see maturity and they want to see growth as far as lyrics and music and whatever. And I think that's a great example about the Beatles. I think they certainly grew and through the years, and their last album was one that my son, I think I told you the story on the show. My son I went to a DJ's house and he had 100 LPs to play. He went through whatever. And my son, I think, was 10 years old, and he said, play whatever LP you want. And he chose Abbey Road, which I think was a great choice from him. And look, all music, like I said, my son is a huge hip hop, beyond hip hop dude right now. I mean, that's all. I'm an old school hip hop guy. I love hip hop. I love rock. I'm a classic rock. There's Robbie and I and Drake, we spoke about this before, is where the fuck is rock and roll right now? And many different platforms. But the youth right now, my son's 16 years old. He plays basketball, and it's a hip hop extravaganza right now. Yep. Old school, new school, whatever. But music is our lives. Music is the playbook to when we wake up and when we go to bed. And I'm so blessed and I'm so happy to have some great music out there in the world that I can have as my soundtrack every day that I wake up and I go to bed. Music is what moves us.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Absolutely. Well, I hate to say it, guys, but I'm in Texas where it's like 10:30 and I got to get up in just a couple hours to do a morning show.
Well, it's 11 here in Nassau.
Yeah. So I hate to say it, man, but I got to wrap my end of this up. And this has been probably one of the most incredible nights of the Hangout yet, in my opinion. And, man, I love this show. This is great. James, I can't thank you enough for coming on and joining us tonight, brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for the invite. Robbie, love you, man. Drake.
I love you too. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Beautiful wife. A big kiss. Craig, I'm looking for your stuff, bro. The only thing I can tell you, man, is keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. And my brother in the Bahamas, man, you've already laid a legacy that will continue. And the only thing I say to you, brother, is blessings from me. Mad love to you, and continued success, brother. Always.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Blessings.
Cool.
I just want to say thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to be on the show too. Leroy, hit me up. We'll collaborate, and Robbie will be in touch. And
Sounds good.
Thank you guys so much.
Cool.
Hopefully get another chance to be on here. Bring Nathan with me next time.
Hopefully we'll be on Twitch TV soon. It'll be a whole new thing.
Yep.
There you go.
Cool.
Craig, thanks for coming on with us, my brother. I appreciate you. Oops, sorry, Craig. Leroy, you know I love you, my friend. You know I do, man. We're gonna be talking a lot more here. It's been crazy. So let's do this. I can't wait to hear what this hook is, and
you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it, man.
I'm sure I will, my friend. I'm sure I will.
Right.
But thanks for blessing us tonight, man. I appreciate you.
I thank you, man. Like I said, for the platform once again. Thank you to everyone. The comments that are coming in from the people that have added on as friends on Facebook and everything. The love is crazy. And like I said, you continue to be who you are. Continue to keep this platform and this door open, and watch what God is going to do for you and your family, man. Robbie, you keep the good work up, man. Let's make beautiful music. Cool. Music is life. Let's do this and let's continue this journey,
Sounds
One
good.
love. One love,
All right.
man.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks,
Guys, take care.
Let's see.
my friend.
All right.
Jess.
Hi, Matt. Did
Hey,
you
we
see
did it.
Coco? Did you see Coco
And
jumping?
then there was 3. No, I didn't see her.
Yeah, I saw Coco come and maul you a minute ago. I was laughing.
She's jumping all over the place.
She probably wants to go out.
My kid comes over, he's like, "Are you done?" I'm like, "We're still going." That was a good show tonight. Thanks so much, Jess. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Robbie.
Bye.
Bye. We did it.
Yeah.
Hey, for having nobody really scheduled for the night, man, we really kind of pulled it out.
Yeah. Well, we had former guests. How cool is that?
And a new guest with Craig.
And new guests, and
Leroy, who we really didn't get to do together because you had malfunctions that night. So that was cool, man. I really enjoyed it. And we went 2.5 hours, brother.
yeah.
That's crazy cool. It was fun.
Yeah.
I loved it. So
Cool.
nobody asked me what my favorite Van Halen song was, but whatever.
No, you asked to everybody, but you were supposed to say it and you cut yourself off. So
Running with the Devil. All right, sponsors. Let's talk Media Job. Jody Gentry, obviously great. Takes care of our website. Go visit it now, www.thehangout.live. We've got Alexandria over at Backbeat Music, who keeps us alive every week and helps us keeping the show going. And we got Full Spectrum CBD. What? Yeah, Full Spectrum CBD. Alan and Shannon and the crew over there. Fantastic folks. Veronica, I appreciate you very much for everything that you do. And thanks for asking that question tonight. Even though Robbie tried to steer us away from it, if you want to donate to help this thing going, because it's coming out of my pocket.
no, it's going to go to Twitch though. Once we go to Twitch, that's their platform, is that, and we should be going there pretty quick. It's going to happen pretty fast. I know, and they've been saying that for a while.
3 months. Been 3 months. But yeah,
But it takes time, but it's looking like it's going to happen pretty fast. So
right. If you really want to help support the show, buy a t-shirt. Get the Hangout Live t-shirt, and we'll get it sent out to you. Or you can donate through the messages down here, and we'll keep it going because this thing does cost. And now it's Robbie's turn to say goodnight.
now it's time to say goodnight to all our family.
MICKEMO.
KY.
We're out of here. We'll love you. See you next time.
Bye-bye.